Welcome to the Uncensored Self Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gillen, and this is a space where women who value achievement, success, accomplishment, and wealth, but also crave happiness, love, joy, and deep fulfillment come to remember that we get to have both. Not by doing more, but by being more of who we truly are. In this show, we explore identity, energy, alignment, and embodiment because you didn't come here to follow someone else's rules. You came to right your own. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Uncensored Self Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Gillen, and I have a doozy of an episode for you today. And what I mean by doozy is I think that this one's going to really fucking change your life if you can feel it. Because today I'm going to explain to you why 95% of the world tries really hard and 5% of the world wins. What is the difference between the people who are trying to win and the winners? I'm going to break that down today, and I'm really fucking excited. And as always, I like to tell you, where did this episode come from? And so I actually wasn't sure what to talk to y'all about for this week. And I just, when I get like that, when it's not really super duper clear, I'll just kind of set an intention like, hey, God, I'm working on the podcast. And again, a lot of my energy and attention goes into this space. So I'm just like, God, show me, guide me, right? And I was guided to pick up an old Bob Proctor book that I haven't read in a while called Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. And honestly, because Derek was reading it. And there's nothing, can I just tell you, like there's nothing sexier than a man who reads books and does the work with you. Holy bananas. But not the point. I was like, I haven't listened to this book in years. And I pick up the book and I'm listening to it. And there's just, and the reason why I really like to read and reread things, and it's a lot of reasons why I do, is Bob Proctor's teachings, is the idea of the difference between just consuming information and really studying something and learning something. We live in a world where we consume a lot of information and we really start to learn. And that's actually when the energy game, the scales started to tip for me, is when I stopped learning about the energy game and actually started studying the energy game and studying myself, is when I really started to see results. But not the point. The point is, one of the things that Bob is saying, it's like a question and answer style interview book. And it's, somebody asks, I don't remember what the question, I'm gonna be real honest with you, but he said 95% of people try to win and 5% win. And I was like, that is it. And so I just kind of took it, and I can't even tell you what Bob's answer was. I'm going to tell you, well, it's the paradigm, right? He talks about the paradigm, and that's all well and good. But I want to tell you, like, I started thinking about that when I look at my clients, myself, when I look around the world, when I look at the rooms that I've been in and the people that I've studied, what do I really think happened? And so I sat down and really started outlining what is the difference between these things. And the reason why I think this is so important to us as high achievers is because we don't just want to do the things. We want to understand why. It's part of the way that our brain works. It's why we're different than the rest of the world. We don't just want to be told what to do. Just go follow the checklist, right? You often tell yourself that's what you want, but it's not actually what you want. You want to understand why things work and how things work. And so this episode is actually, instead of like a teaching, if you will, it explains why the world looks the way it does. And specific, our lens here today is career and business success, right? That is my corner of the world. You can literally take this lens and put it on any corner of the world. But today, all of the examples, all of the stories, all of the energy is going into business and career success for women, right? And again, through the lens of a professional woman who has achieved a lot and still feels dissatisfied. So here's the reason why. Here's the number one reason why, between the 5% that win and the 95% that try, is that most people use information, like I was talking about, just reading, consuming information, and action as their primary creation tools. Most people use information and action as their primary creation tools. I want a different experience of life. I'm going to go learn something new. I'm going to do something new, and I'm going to execute better. And that works into a certain extent. That is why you have achieved what you have achieved so far in life, right? Information and action, what nobody told you, and the reason that leaves you here feeling dissatisfied despite what you have created, is because those are the least effective creation tools. When used alone, if all of your creation energy is coming from information and action, the least effective creative tools when used alone, they're missing pieces of the creation process, right? They're missing pieces of the creation process. And so most people are missing really critical pieces of the creation process, namely understanding that it's their energy that creates. But I'm going to tell you what are the things that are missing from the creation process through just kind of my brainstorm that I went through before I hit record on this. And the first thing that I see, and this is again very specific to high achievers who get in this place, is that they have no vision anymore, or they're disconnected from their vision. And I want to be clear. I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, Ryan, I business plan, I have goals, I make vision boards all of the time, right? And I get that, and I understand that, but there is a very big difference between having a goal to make $1 million or the vision of creating a life that you are fucking obsessed with. Those are two different things. Most people have goals and not vision. And so we're using things like goal planning and business planning and 12-week years and different things like that to try to bring our goals to life. And that is not the whole story. Your goals are just goals. They're things that you intend to do, right? Like to me, when you write down a goal, that is an intention. This is an action item, but it's just a piece of a much bigger story. So when I was doing my Create 2026 work, which if you guys want me to bring that back, let me know, because those sessions have been so good. But what goes on when we are not connected to our vision is that you are writing the pages without knowing the full book, right? And the point of me talking about the Create 2026 sessions is I say every year is just a chapter in a much bigger story, right? Every year is just a chapter. Well, every day, if every year is just a chapter, then every day is just a page. And what has happened to so many people is that we get up every single morning and we just write the pages. We wake up, we go through the to-do list, we execute, next milestone, repeat, right? And so we write a page for today and a page for tomorrow and a page for the next day. And there is no through line from the pages. We're just trying to get things done. We're just managing our life. We're not creating anything anymore. And that's actually where that Groundhog Day energy is coming from, where it feels like every day is the fucking same and it doesn't matter whether you do less or you do more. And it's because you're just trying to write a page at a time. And so energy, and it's all focused on external things. Your energy, when you're just focused on a goal, is being poured into external things. The goal is revenue. The goal is scale. The goal is title. It's the number. It's the house. It's the car. It's the external thing. You're pouring your energy, your creative energy, your life force energy into external things. When I get there, then. When I have the house, then. When I have the car, then. When I hit that milestone, then I will be happy. And if that's the direction that your life is going, you don't have a vision anymore. You're just chasing things. When you are trying, the 95% of the world that try, they're chasing goals. They're chasing external things in order to make them feel whole and worthy and complete. When you chase external things to be whole and worthy and complete, you will always be in the energy of trying because nothing is ever going to feel good enough. I did an entire episode on it. When is enough enough? Right? When you are chasing something outside of yourself and your happiness depends on you catching that outside thing, you don't have a vision. You are managing your life. You are chasing, and what we chase runs away. The people that are winning, what do they know? Is that they are flowing their energy towards a vision. They're not just getting up every morning and checking boxes. They are building something. I've been saying this a lot lately. There's a very big difference between getting up every day and working versus getting up every day and creating. And I know you felt that. The reason why most people try to be successful is they get up every day and work instead of getting up every day and creating. Those people that are winning are flowing their energy towards a vision, what they want. And I don't mean vision in the way of this really heartfelt, purpose, passion-driven thing. I think that's a common misconception in this work is that, it's like it has to be this heartfelt way that you want to serve the world. And I believe you are wired to serve. I believe that to be true. But if your vision is 100% self-serving, that doesn't matter. Like, that's okay. God isn't judging you for that at all. But the thing is again, most people that I talk to don't have a vision anymore. They just have goals. And that's leading to continuing to try, because chasing a goal is the energy of trying. Creating a vision is the energy of winning. It's the creator energy. So that is the first thing. Depending on where you feel in this conversation, what's coming up for you, if you don't have a vision, you're going to continue to try. Okay. Yes, I'm not going to apologize for that. I have found that to be true for myself and for my clients. Right. So the second part of this, right, the second thing that has happened here, the difference between winners and the people who try, is that winners know that life is happening through you, not to you. The 5% of the people who are winning in life understand that life is happening through you, not to you. The people who are trying to change their life believe that life is happening to them, that they have no control over what is going on out here, that it is the outside world, it is the interest rates, it is the market, it is the industry, it is the clients, it is the economy, the world is on fire, it is politics, it is social media. That is the reason why I don't have everything that I want. That is what the people who are trying to be wildly successful do. They blame the outside world. And I even hate to use that word because I don't think it's intentional. Like, you are not the type of person that doesn't want to take responsibility. In fact, you typically take on too much responsibility. But if you think that I cannot outpace a market with shitty interest rates, or I cannot hire employees because nobody wants to come to work, and you believe that that is happening to you and that you have no control over changing that, then it's always going to feel harder than it has to for you. Right? We live in a world where we were taught to believe it's me against the world, me and you against the world, right? And that couldn't be farther from the truth. So the 5% that are winning, they understand that we live in a friendly universe. I said that to a client recently, and she goes, Ryan, it doesn't feel that way. I know. I know that it doesn't feel that way because fear-based programming shapes our worldview. Headlines don't tell you all the babies that were born healthy and happy every day. They tell you about the ones that were born addicted to drugs. The world doesn't tell you how many flights landed successfully and on time today. They just told you the ones that were canceled. They didn't tell you about the millions of happy people in the world. They only told you about the ones that are suffering. And I'm not saying that there's not suffering and bad things happening in the world. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that we are inundated with a message all of the time that the world is falling apart. And because universal law works 100% of the time, that is the belief system that we wind up adopting. That's what we wind up becoming an energetic match to. What you focus on expands. So if you are constantly focusing on what is wrong in the world, what is not going well, whether it's in your world, in your business, in your industry, in your marriage, in your body, if all of your energy goes to what is not going well and all the things that are outside of your control, you become an energetic match to your current experience. Life is not happening to you, it's happening through you. It's happening through you. You are the creator of your reality, right? I'll get into that in identity in just a second. But the people who are winning understand the difference between reacting to circumstances or frequency, right? I did an entire podcast on this one too, react versus respond, right? A couple weeks back. Most people are reacting to life. The people who are trying to be successful are reacting to their circumstances, their current bank account balance, the current number on the scale, the current job title that they have, the current relationship that they're in, the current friends that they hang out in, and they're using that current circumstances to base their world. And because universal law works 100% of the time, they're an energetic match to their life. The people that are winning, the 5% are winning, they understand its frequency. They understand that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. They understand that I can only have circumstances that I am an energetic match to. There's no such thing as coincidence, ever. And the more that I do this work, guys, the more I see this. There is no such thing as coincidence. People who are winning know that. People who are trying to win think that life is happening to them. The third difference between the 5% that are winning and the 95% are not is their identity. Identity. I preach this to my core. I think this is the most powerful part of my work. It is identity. Do you first and foremost believe that you are the one creating your reality? Or do you believe that you are a victim of your circumstances? And I tell you what, there's too much evidence across science, spirituality, neuroscience, religion, and all the places to deny creation, to deny our ability to create. This is proven over and over and over again in sure data every single day, right? And the reason why we know that we're the creators of our reality is because there are people who've had horrible things happen to them, and have created incredible lives. And there are people who were born with incredible circumstances, meaning they had every advantage and privilege known to man, and their lives still didn't launch. Why? Why? Because, and the reason why I'm giving you that example is because most people think the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is where did they start from? What was their starting line? But we're seeing over and over and over again that the starting line doesn't matter because there are people building themselves from the ground up. There are people having horrible things happen to them and turn around and recreate their entire lives. So tell me again how you're not the one creating this. But your identity creates your behavior, and your behavior dictates your results. Right? Identity determines outcomes. Who do you believe yourself to be? Are you the type of person who wins? Are you the type of woman who gets what she wants? Are you the type of person who people want to hire, who people want to work with, who people want to do business with, who people want to follow, who people want to listen to your stuff, whatever that is? Do you believe yourself to be that type of woman? Because if you don't believe yourself to be that type of woman, you won't take action like that type of woman. Your behavior won't match that type of woman. And if your identity and your behavior don't match, your results won't match either. That's the difference. I got to tell you something. I was doing some research the other day because I'm really getting into a couple different things. The top 10% of female earners, women earners in the United States is $138,000 a year. Top 10%, $138,000 a year. There's many of you listening right now that have at least at one point in your time made more money than that. Many of you listening right now, right? Many of you exceed that. The accomplishment says that you are a top 10% earner, but your identity continues to tell you that you are not enough, right? And so your dissatisfaction is when your identity and your accomplishments aren't matched. And the reason why I gave you that specific statistic is just to tell you that the story, it's so much of the story. It's not the circumstances. And also, I also want to tell you something else. There's one of you right now thinking that $130,000 a year would bankrupt you. And there's some of you thinking right now that $138,000 a year would be more money than you've ever made, which is another example of identity. That is the identity. Are you the identity of the woman who thinks $140,000 a year would bankrupt you? Or are you the identity of the woman that you think $140,000 a year is more money than you need? You get to choose. Neither one is wrong, but it is your choice. It is your choice. And the difference between those that win and those that don't is those that win will actually build a relationship with themselves. They will actually do the work to change their identity, because identity work is not easy. I know personal development is like, oh my God, it's not easy to confront yourself. It's not easy to change all of your belief systems. It's not easy to have difficult conversations. Right? Confronting yourself and having to admit to yourself that you're the problem and the solution is not the easiest path. Most people skip it. I tried to skip this part. I did not want this part. This part felt very uncomfortable. On the surface, the identity that I portrayed to the outside world externally was that I was wildly confident, that I knew who I was and what I wanted, and I was on top of the world. And behind closed doors, I felt none of that. That is why I made $1 million and it collapsed, because the identity couldn't support the circumstances. So the work that I have been doing since that happened is rebuilding the identity of a woman who can confidently hold a 7-figure business. I have done that work, and I will run a 7-figure company. In fact, I will probably run an $8 million. We're going to remove the probably. I will run a $10 million company. Ooh, that felt something in my body, right? Because I have done this part. Most people won't. Most people won't. They will make their circumstances their story. I could have made bankruptcy my story. I could have made failed business partnership my story. I could have made divorce my story. I could have made overweight, average, middle-aged mom my story. But that's not who the fuck I want to be, and I don't think it's who you want to be either, whatever your story is, okay? Your identity, that is the difference between those that win and those that don't, okay? And then the final difference, I believe, is energy. Learning to play the energy game. Learning to play the energy game. The top 5%, whether they call it the energy game or not, whether they call it universal law, I don't care. If you go and have a conversation with the top 5% who are winning, their energy is online. Their mind, body, and soul are aligned. Their mind, and I don't mean, and I even hate to say top 5%, because I'm not even talking about money in this instance, right? Like I'm not even defining success. I'm talking about the people who are living lives that they are obsessed with. Okay. So I don't mean top 5% as in top 5% of wage earners, or top 5% as in top 5% biggest businesses. I mean the difference of, if there are 100 people trying to be the very best version of themselves, 95% will fail and 5% will win. The 5% that win are the ones that understand that it's mind, body, soul. That it is mind, body, soul, that all parts of you have to be on board for your life to change. Again, most people use, what did I tell you at the beginning? Use action and information to create mind and body, right? Mind and body. And they're not even fully using their body. They're just using the body to act. They're not really using the magic of the body. Most people playing the mind game, they're using the body to do the work, but they're not using the body the way the body is available to be used, because she is fucking incredible, right? The energy game is mind, body, soul. Most people, the people who aren't winning, are playing in the mind only. Strategy and effort without soul, without connection, without passion, without drive, without vision leads to static. It leads to static. The law of vibration and the law of attraction say if you put out static, you will get static back. Energy creates. The baseline energy of stress, chaos, and overwork is being mirrored back to most people. And then we are reacting instead of responding. I want this, but I'm accepting this. I desire this, but I'm okay with this. I say I want this, but I keep settling for this. Static signal, static results. 95% of people react to life. Going back to the very beginning, what is the difference, right? What is the difference between those that win and those that don't? 95% of people don't have a vision. They just have goals and they're just working. 95% of people think that they are the victim of their circumstances. They think that life is happening to them. 95% of people don't own the fact that they're the ones creating their reality. And 95% of people don't own the fact that it's their energy that creates. And that is why they continue to try and try and try, some of them to immense effort, and they don't get there. And I don't say this to shame that 95%, guys. I used to be that 95%. Okay. There's no shame in this at all. This is me helping you understand, because I don't believe anybody tried harder than me to be rich. I gambled the fucking farm and lost. Nobody wanted it more than I did. I just didn't. I kept trying to use the mind and the body. I kept trying to use action and information instead of this stuff, instead of understanding these concepts, instead of doing the work on myself. It was so much easier to do my work on the business, to do the work on money, than to do the work on my soul. To have to admit a lot of things I didn't want to. But here's what I know about you as a high achiever. You already know how to execute. Discipline is not your fucking issue. You are likely outperforming most people in the action part of the game. You play the mind game. You think 10 steps ahead of everybody. It's what makes you fucking excellent. You are overusing effort and you're underusing energy. If I had to give you one sentence out of this podcast, it would be that one. The difference between the 95% who are trying and the 5% who are winning is that the ones that are trying are overusing effort and underusing energy. The ones that are winning are using their energy and they've moved effort down the list. It is the last part of the creation process, not the first. Okay? 95% of people, they chase accomplishment. They react to circumstances. They rely on information in their action, and they wait for the outside world to change to feel better. That's why they just keep trying. 5% of the world has vision, or not of the world, of this population. These numbers, you guys know these numbers are made up, right? I'm just telling you the difference between those that win and those that don't. You look around, you sit in rooms full of people, whether it's in a mastermind, a room full of peers, company Christmas party, I don't know. What's the difference between the ones that are thriving and the ones that aren't? It's this shit right here. The ones that are thriving, they have vision. They understand that life happens through them. They do the identity work. They do the work. They intentionally manage their energy, and they focus on happiness instead of metrics. That is what the Chase Happy Instead podcast series is about. If you are listening to this podcast and you have not gone and downloaded that one, please do. Please do. I honestly believe that it is so powerful. It is a complete change in identity shift, a complete change in identity, a complete change in belief system, but it is the difference. It is the difference when you look around and you're like, I can't possibly try harder. This is the path, but it is the path less traveled. It is the less popular path. It is not the path that has the most people on it. I can tell you that. I made that mistake for a long time. I was standing on this path looking for more people to tell me that I was on the right path, right? Because I didn't want to be wrong. What if this energy shit was woo-woo bullshit and it wasn't true? I wasted a lot of time. And then it became really clear. This is why so few people are insanely happy, have lives that they're fucking obsessed with. Because this is the path least traveled, and we are not wired for that. We have to consciously choose that. It is comfortable to stay on the path that everyone else is on. It is comfortable to stay where you are, especially when it's good. I talked about this last week, right? In why is change so hard, right? But the difference is subtle. Notice I didn't say that the difference wasn't where they came from or how much they knew or what degrees they had, right? That's not the difference. That's not the determining difference. It's just what you have been programmed to believe. And the reason why you're here listening to this podcast right now is because a small part of you tells you maybe that's all bullshit. I'm glad you're here. A little bit of rebel, a little bit of one to walk off the beaten path. That's why you're here. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Uncensored Self podcast. If this conversation cracked something open for you, trust that that's the work. And share this episode with a woman in your life who's ready to stop performing and start creating. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review. It helps this message reach the women who need it most. Remember, you're the creator. The rules are yours. And your uncensored self, she already knows what to do. Keep leading, keep listening, keep becoming.